Hey, what up guys? And in this one, I'm taking out my irons on their maiden voyage, first 18 holes with these clubs. They're the Wilson Model Staff CBs. So let's head out to the course and see how I did. All right, first drive out there. First with the water on the left, but I ended up hitting a bit of a fade, so stay safe. Yeah, good way to start off the day. Next up, first iron with the Model Staff CBs. Hit it okay, and I ended up hitting a little thin and flared it out to the right. Now I only have a short wedge into the green. Got to hit over the bunkers, and I just didn't want to be short, so I ended up being a little bit long, but I'll take that. Just have a putt onto the green, and the greens are actually running pretty good today. Not a great putt, left myself quite a bit for par. Hit my par, and we're good to go. Overview provided by Arcos. Next up, another decent drive, but it ends up tracking for the sand trap that is on the left-hand side. So the next shot will be from out of the bunker. As you can see in this shot here, I have a tree in my way, so I take a pretty high lofted club just to get over and into the fairway. Didn't want to mess with the tree and get a high number. Then I just hit another wedge into the green. Ends up being pretty decent, so I have a good look at it for par. And yep, just end up rolling it by. So just tap that in for my bogey. That's what you get for driving into a bunker. Next shot, I hit my driving iron. I try to get it over this tree on the left, but it ends up going straight into the tree. Should definitely played it a little bit more right, but I end up getting through. But I'm on this weird lie, this dirt lie, and I just get right under it with the CB. And unfortunately, now I just have another chip to the green. So chipping it on here, it ends up rolling way more than anticipated. Yeah, the greens were a lot more faster than I expected. So here's my really long putt, and it's actually not a bad roll here. So I have this just to clean up my bogey, and here's my bogey attempt. Now she's not that far, and I end up getting my bogey. Next up is a par 3. Hit the iron pretty well here. It felt really good. Ends up hitting the back of the green and then rolling off. And the condition of this hole is like really bad. I don't know what happened here. So I ended up putting it on a little bit of grass. But yeah, ends up rolling it decently close to the hole. Little testy putt for par. End up rolling it pretty good. But, give it my best shot and end up just making bogey here. But striking with the irons pretty well. Next up is a shorter par 4, but it's dead into the wind, so I end up taking my driver. Ended up hitting it pretty decent and setting myself up for a good shot into the green. Playing with wind here, so I'm still trying to get my distance down. So I think I take a pitching wedge here, and I end up flaring it out to the right. Not a very good shot. Yeah, so now I have this chip onto the green. And trying my best here, I barely land it like off the green, and it just kicks a little bit forward and rolls all the way past the hole. So I have this to come back for my par. And try my best here, but didn't work out. But that's what I get for missing the green, right? So just taking my bogey, and nope, not taking the bogey. Actually got a double here, so first double of the day. Alright, for this next drive, I hit it pretty high. Kind of topped it a bit, but the wind was so strong from behind that it rolled out pretty far. So I got pretty lucky, and I think it hit a dry spot, so it rolled forward. Next up, got pretty lucky with the wedge. It ended up being short and right, but it kicked forward from those bunkers on the right. So my playing partner that I was playing with got pretty upset that I got such a lucky kick. Yeah, here's my attempt for the bird. End up rolling it decently close, and then putting it in for par. So back onto the par train, feeling good, moving on to the next hole. This next one, pretty hard dog leg left, so I end up hitting a pretty decent drive, but I hit it too far into the bunker that's like you can't see from the tee box. Next up, I hit an iron. Since I had a fade lie, I played it out a little bit to the left, and it ended up fading just a bit, but I have a really long putt for my birdie here. Thought I was going to break a certain way, and I was off and didn't trust my initial line, but I ended up getting this close to the hole for my second putt, and I ended up making par here, so no complaints. Next up, another par 3. I try to do like a knockdown, punchy under the wind shot. Ends up going sky high and a little bit short into the green. I should have just taken a full swing, and I end up into the bunker in a very bad lie. So I'm just trying to muscle my way out of this one. I'm just glad that I got it out of there. End up taking a putt here from off the green, and not bad. So I'll just clean that up for my bogey. That's what I get for missing the green and going to the bunker. Next up, just a short par 5. Everyone took driver, but I took iron and laid up to the left. In hindsight, I should have took driver, but I played the safe play. So next up, just lay up again because I'm outside of my range and it's kind of narrows down at the end of the green. Hit my shot pretty close with the wedge here. I hit it short of the flag and then it starts rolling towards it and it funnels down. So it was a really good shot here. Here's my birdie attempt. And yeah, didn't quite get it, but an easy par. I'll take those all day. Next up, another par 5, and I hit a really good drive with the wind, and it's a dog leg, a little bit of a dog leg less, so I ended up with a really good spot to go for it in 2. So stepping up, excited with the new CBs, and I just bladed into the water. You hate to see that, give yourself a good opportunity to hit a cool shot, and you just fail. So took a drop, end up hitting pitching wedge, I believe, over to the water, or 9-iron or something. End up getting onto the green, trying to save my par here with the penalty, and I almost get it, but you know what? That's what I deserve for hitting the water. Glad to have a bogey there. Next up, another par 3. Super windy, and the wind held it up pretty good. Ended up going into the hazard that is short of the flag, but I had a shot out of it, so I took my chip, and it just stops right near the hole. So got pretty lucky there with the par, and I'm happy that I'm only 7 over. Alright, this is probably the best and most interesting hole on the course. You can go directly for the green, and it's like 280, 260 probably to carry the ravine. I just took a 2-iron here and flared it out to the right, and I played it safe. But yeah, not only is this tee shot very interesting, but the green is also very protective with undulation. So depending on where the pin is, it can be pretty tough. Here's my putting attempt. I lead a little bit short, but I just wanted to get close enough to just tap in my par, and then I end up getting a par on this hole. Stress-free pars are the way to go in my opinion. Alright, hit this drive sky high, but luckily there's wind behind, so it ended up going a decent amount where I can hit my second shot into the green pretty easily from the middle of the fairway. My approach shot was actually pretty decent. Still left myself with a very long putt, but on the surface and putting nonetheless. So here's my attempt here. Not the greatest of putts. Give myself a decent chunk just to get my par. And unfortunately, this was not a stress-free par because I missed this, and I end up 3-putting, so 8 over. Alright, this next hole's pretty straightforward. I'm pretty wide open, so I end up just going for it. End up being a little bit onto the right of the fairway, but there's a lot of wind, so it didn't go that far. Hit my approach shot into the green, end up being a little bit short into the left, so I have to chip on and try to get up and down for my par. Here goes the chip. Ends up being pretty decent to where I can manage to get a pretty easy par. So stress-free par is the way to go. Alright, this next one's a slight dogleg left, and of course what I do, I hit it to the right-hand side. Just gotta love adding extra yardage to the hole. And on top of that, I end up being on a side lie. So taking the Wilson CB iron here, just trying to keep it out of the wind. End up hitting a really short follow through, and ends up drawing to the left, so I'm off to the green onto the left. End up chipping on here, and not the greatest of chips. I thought it was going to come down hard left, but I didn't give it. I gave it way too much break. So here's my putt on a very hard breaking putt, and I just burned it by, and it was downhill as well, so as you can see I smoked it by the hole. And here's the comeback, and of course you're going to leave it short. So another 3-putt, double bogey, 10 over, not looking good. Alright, and this next one, to hit a pretty good drive, but unfortunately gets caught up into the trap onto the left. So I get to hit an iron shot with the CBs out of the sand. And as you can see, didn't do the greatest job here. I just wanted to get it out, but not happy with that. Next shot, kind of blind shot into the green. You can't really see it, and I forgot there was a sand trap in front of it. So had a terrible lie, just wanted to get it out, and I was able to get it out. Here's me chipping it on. I'm really just trying to get out of the hole, but I blast this one by. Just compounding mistakes. Next up, just trying to put it in. Just get me out of the hole. And yeah, just give me that 2-putt. Another double bogey. So a string of double bogeys in the back. So I took like 3 extra clubs here, and I ended up playing a little bit of a knockdown punch, ended up fading just a bit, but I was the only one in my group to get onto the green in regulation, so I really like that. Here's my attempt to putt for birdie. Not the greatest attempt, left it kind of short, but like I said, stress-free pars is the way to go. Alright, pretty standard score, 12 over for me going to the last hole. Drop kick my driver to the left, also pretty standard for me sometimes, unfortunately. But I have a shot at it, so I take my iron, and unfortunately I end up pulling it left and short. So I gave myself a pretty tough chip to get onto the green. So as you can see, I need to get over the sand trap and then onto the green. First objective completed, not in the sand trap. Second objective, not completed. Fortunately, the duff came out in the chip at the worst possible time, the last chip of the day. And here I'm just trying to save my bogey, and I can't do it. So unfortunately, end up with a double at the last hole, 14 over. But hey, had a good time, a great first round with the new irons, and I really love these things. Alright, so as you can see, it's a very windy day, so really when it comes to getting new irons, you just want to dial in the distances in terms of carry and roll. I felt like I did that out there, but it was super windy, so pretty tough conditions out there. I was shooting pretty good up until the last like 4 holes or so, and I just got a string of doubles, so that's kind of a bummer, but hey, you know what, that's how it goes and that's how golf is. But in terms of the CBs, oh man, these things are pure. I hit these pretty well. You know, when I struck them well, you know, it felt like butter. Very good feedback on the shots I didn't hit well either, but I'm enjoying these so far, and you know, I look forward to hitting these for years to come. So I hope you guys enjoyed that one, and I'll see you in the next one.